right. I am back from vacation. Let me see if I remember how to do this. All the tags look correct. We are playing in the Monsters and Memories category. That's been pretty cool. Yeah, I think we're good to go on the Twitch front. If you're watching this on YouTube, howdy. I should have, I didn't actually check, but I should have had all of the streams from before I went on vacation popping up. They were scheduled to pop up as VODs. Oh, music's probably super loud, huh? Not that that's a bad thing. Alright, that's a little bit quieter. Once people get into chat, I can, I'll hear their feedback on the actual mixing. So, Discord announcement has gone out to my Discord. It has gone out to... Ooh, I missed a bunch of streams. M&M Discord. Cool. Alright. The Pilgrim 1. Hey, John. Well, it's two Johns, I guess. The Pilgrim 1 is a John, and John is also a John. I think, unless John's real name. John NS's real name is actually not John. Chess Solo, hello. Let's get ready to have bad pasture for 3 hours. How you guys doing today? How was your weekend? How was your... Well, how long was I gone? 2 weeks? John is your real first name, but NS is not your last name? Alright, fair enough. Organic Cacao, thank you for 4 months. Your primes and your subs, they do help. They actually do help.
Hey, robot. Hope you had a nice vacation.
Norden, thank you very much. I did have I had a really cool vacation. It worked out well. Hey, Vagrant. Kaicho, good morning. Norden, thank you for 7 months. Did I just say that? Did I repeat myself? Vagrant, people are pretty cool about gift subbing in here, so... Why are they so nice? I hope it's a testament. I think it's a testament to the team. I think we're generally pretty nice folk. I think that's reflected in our community to date, so... Cube 30. 19 months. That's the name that doesn't... It's not super familiar, so you must just be a really, really kind lurker. Appreciate that. You don't have to be chatty to be here. Vagrant said, I need to hire a 3D modeler or I'm going to commit tax fraud. You'll have to explain how those things are related. Hey, Remez. Cromlech, good morning. Hey, Pattis. they're not related, but your frustration is expressed. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. What's the game plan today? So I'm gonna go through on my second monitor. I'm not gonna show you because I don't think there's a easy or safe way to show. Ooh, it looks like, did this get updated? There's a lot of stuff going on the character side. You've probably seen it if you've been watching Zukin streams. I've got to catch up on the guys' streams. But the art folks have just they've been working on a ton of stuff in the background, and it sounds like either some things just got pushed or some things are about to be pushed from Zukin. I think maybe just got pushed. So we should be on the lookout for some things that maybe broke. Ooh. If they got pushed today, I wonder if no, so if they got pushed to development, then they shouldn't. I don't think maybe they got pushed to test. So if they did get pushed to test, we should probably let the test folks know if they see broken stuff on the character side. I guess there's no harm in them bugging it, but Reb Chumley,
Welcome back.
thank you very much for 8 months. I'm sorry if if the subscription messages aren't loud enough. I'll turn up my overall sort of music here, and then I'll come in here and maybe turn down the volume. How's that? You guys let me know. Is that a mask on the hood? Not yet. I don't think it's intentionally a mask, Vagrant, but we should be. Oops, I talked over another one. Did I? No, it was just a heart. Indesi2, thank you for 10 months. Yeah, so as far as I know, we will be supporting masks and face items as well. We'll make the announcement in this coming update, the monthly update. We've got a new artist on board who's we crossed paths. We almost worked directly together back when I was at King's Isle. He's somebody that's been in chat here with us many times, been hanging out in our community for a while, but he's also a member of the games industry, and has been doing primarily character art for, I'd say, like 16 years. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that. And yeah, so he's working with us as well now, and it's been really cool because I think it's been helpful for me in that I'm not like formally, I'm not art trained, and I've been a designer, I've been a producer.
Morning, sir. Welcome back.
Hey Nicodemus, thank you for 17 months. But I've been trying to give a lot of feedback, and a lot of times it kind of sucks for the guys because I'm trying to give art feedback as someone that's not an artist. And so Patrick / VGFX has actually been able to help translate some of that stuff a little bit quicker. And so that's really cool. So I'm excited to have him on board. Hey, what's up, Jack? Hey. Those of you that have never been to Sweden, it's amazing. The greeting in the greeting in Sweden's hey. And they say it with their sweet Elvish accents. Hey. That means hello. Or tjena, which I think I'm pronouncing correctly. Tjena. Does the game have zones or is it a seamless world? We are zone based for those of you that may be new in here. We're zone based for a number of reasons. I'd say the top 3 are probably one in no particular order. One, it's nostalgic, right? We're doing a lot of things very intentionally, like nostalgic. Oh yeah, the C-Jack, the other greeting. Hey, son. The Swedish people are so amazing. They're so cute. So we're doing zones because they're nostalgic. They're just kind of retro feeling. They have pretty clear gameplay implications. So none of our mobs are leashed. Here, let me go full screen. All right, so if I got this guy if I got this guy and I don't one-shot him, if I got this guy and I provoke him. Okay, he's provoked. And I'm running super speed. Sorry, I should probably fix that real quick. You slow ass snake. Okay. And then we'll provoke this guy as well. Okay. So they're not leashed. There's no tethering of any sort. He got a damn stun in on me though, despite the level disparity. So I gotta run him to the guards. I gotta run him to the zone line. So it's telling me all about the hype train. Sorry, it just distracted me. So that's another reason. So essentially nostalgic. We like zone lines and we like the fact that, you know, trains can exist and all of that stuff. So keeping it with the hype train theme. And then the other thing it does give us is some degree of flexibility in terms of just how we design the zones and build the zones without having to worry too much about technical considerations. So yeah, so all those make sense. Because like if we look at this zone right here, oh, and John, to answer your question from like 12 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, the plan for today is I'm gonna probably have our bug database, our GitHub issues open on the other monitor here. I can't show you our GitHub for security reasons, but I'll have it up over here, and then I'm just gonna go through and try to find issues that I can either address directly or even better yet, maybe go through and just validate or find some duplicates, because I've been pulling, while we've been doing friends and family testing, I've been pulling, or we've been pulling the issues out of that /bug report database and putting them into our issues when they're valid. And some of them may not be valid, so I want to look at those and make sure that they're valid, and for ones that I can actually address, maybe if they're quick. Man, I am saying a lot today. That's what happens when you go on vacation for 2 weeks. I'm gonna just keep doing it, I guess. Anyway, so if they're easier to fix, I'll just fix them on the spot. If they're not easy to fix, at least I know they're valid, and then I can kind of put them aside for me to try to tackle later this week and just see if we can smash down the bug DB a little bit for the ones that I can do. So yeah, back to the zone topic. It's interesting when I fly up here, it actually breaks the facade a little bit. So if we go to the other one in a second, you'll see. But it allows us to do whatever we want in terms of facade, because whatever's on the other side of the zone line, you're not going to get to. Well, maybe you'll find some sneaky way of getting there. Who knows? But in theory, you shouldn't be over there. So it allows us to do some cool things with facades. It allows us to also optimize. Like Night Harbor is huge, as you can see. We're of the belief that at some point we're going to break Night Harbor up into multiple zones, or at least 2 zones. And And as you can see, like an area that big, especially once it gets populated, because I think we're already probably 600 NPCs in the zone or something like that, and we've mainly just populated this sort of front area, and there's so much to do. Anyway, it's just, it'll be better. Or if we find that it'll be better, then we'll do it. So who is it that was just saying? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, probably not says, I haven't seen your streams in almost 2 years, and amazing how much progress has been made. Yeah, and you know, this is just a quick kind of like visualization of the progress that's been made, just kind of on the environment art front. We've got, if you haven't been here in a couple years, it may be worth bouncing back through some of the old VODs, just because we've got a super rad, very huge dungeon that's hidden over here in the mountains. It's the Tomb of the Last Worm's Bane. We've got I'll zone over here. Like I said, the illusion's kind of broken because I'm up here. Plus, we haven't done a lot of facade work in this direction. Like there's trees and stuff that you'll see when we zone over that you don't see from there. But you'll really see it on the other side of the zone line when you look back in, especially at night. So if we're here and let's see, what time is it? It's 11 a.m. So let's do time set 8 p.m. See how it's illuminated? Right? We, you know, whatever's unreachable, especially when it's on the other side of a zone line, we control the horizontal, we control the vertical, we can make it kind of seem however we want. Now there's some downsides. There's a lot that we're doing with like player lighting and you can see NPC lighting and stuff like that you may not see when we're doing it across zone line facade, you know, facades like this. Like if I'm actually here, let me set the time back. Time set 11 a.m. When we're on the other side here at night, you see guards patrolling around with their own light sources and stuff. Now, that's not to say that we can't fake some of that by just putting that into this zone and having it in the facade. So, there's pros and cons, right? Let's see. As TJX said, I've joined the illustrious ranks of the SSE alumni, heading over to Avalanche in March. Congrats. Avalanche was, I swear they worked on something recently, or I thought I saw something that they were doing recently that was looking pretty cool game-wise. Oh yeah, looks like there's all sorts of character stuff that's a bit wonky at the moment. Oh, nightmare fuel. But we'll get that fixed. Like I said, we just had a big character push with some changes, and so we'll get all that fixed. Pazzy says, I really hope that somehow Night Harbor can stay one single area. Not having a barrier really contributes to the sense of scale and continuity. We'll see. I believe it's going to get broken up, but I may be wrong as well. We'll see if once we've got everything in and built out and lit and NPCs in, if there's still no problems, then there's no reason to do a zone line. Nicodemus asked, how was vacation? Bet jet lag was a pain for that distance. Jet lag going there was no problem. Jet lag on the way back, I hadn't slept for like 20 some hours, you know, or 30 hours when I got back. And so that wound up being here. I'm going to, while I'm just rambling on this stuff, let me, for those that haven't been around in a while. I came back. Basically, we tried to stay up until nighttime here. Went to bed. Woke up the next day kind of normally, but super foggy. And then the day after that, I was super jet lagged. Yeah, so coming back was definitely worse. So yeah, if you guys haven't been around in a while, I'm vulnerable here. Do this. I'll just show you this really quick prior to getting to work. Ignore the frame rate on this. You know, it's my usual disclaimer. I like to work in the editor, just because. Just because I don't know, maybe it's habit. I guess if I sit and think about it, I can figure out some reasons why it's better. But I like having access to everything in the editor and going into scene view and stuff like that. But the frame rate is often not as good. It kind of ebbs and flows in terms of efficiency in the editor. When we run the actual clients, it's good. My ears all right? I believe so. Is there something that am I talking too loud? What's going on, Vagrant? So CJX said she's working. Ravenbound, is there super cool new thing? Maybe that's what I saw. You're going to the Generation Zero team. Generation Zero, I haven't kept up on it, but I always felt like they could have done a lot more with that game. I like the art that they ripped off to make the world, if I'm not mistaken. Or the theme, or the whatever, that Swedish artist. They made that Netflix show using his stuff. Oh, it's so dark. Oh, I just got turned around. Live Ops team transformed Gen Zero from a bit of a wreck to something dope. Oh, cool. I'll have to catch up on it then. Hopefully I don't forget. Here, I'll open it on another tab so I don't forget. Generation Zero. Cool. Hey, Isan. Yeah, I mean, the world seems like it'd have a ton of potential. So, live ops teams have a way of. I've worked, you know, I've come onto several projects after they were alive, and a live ops team has a lot of potential to impact a game and improve it and grow it and make it better and all that. So. Yeah, Nicodemus, I'm sure it's not a shock for a lot of folks that it's not going to run as smoothly in the editor. But when people come in and maybe they're not familiar with the concept or they're just seeing the game for the first time, they're like, I've had a few people ask in the past, like, oh, what's up with the frame rate? And, you know, it's a fair question. It's just like, the frame rate's not stellar just because I'm in development mode. When we run it, you know, when we run through the built client, it's so nice and smooth. Hey, Justin Beard. Yeah, you guys be careful out there with all that snow. Don't take it lightly. I was glad to hear that Goblin made it home safe. Do these zones scale vertically on a server or do they scale horizontally with multiple VPs? Code Matt. I'm just going to call you Code Matt. That is a question that I honestly don't even fully understand. You should ask one of our tech people. Hit us up in Discord. If you've got technical questions, some things, I mean, I've heard enough that I can answer. But there's a lot of stuff that I'm just going to get wrong. So if you hit our Discord, our tech folks are very happy to answer questions. And so there's a link to our Discord right there. Those of you that don't know anything about the game, if you've somehow just stumbled in here, here's our website. Oh, Vagrant said, I think you mentioned something about your ears a while back while traveling. That was actually That was my wife. So 2 or 3 days before we were scheduled to fly to the US, Jasmine had this sudden hearing loss in one of her ears, and went to the doctor, and they were like, yeah, well, not sure if you should be flying. And so she was pretty quick to be like, well, let's figure out what I can do to be able to fly. And so she had like eardrop or earplugs and nasal spray and all sorts of stuff that she had to do, but she was absolutely going to go on the trip. Because those of you that don't know, and honestly, for most of you, why would you? The last vacation we took to the US last year to see my parents, the first stop was Austin so that I could take care of some things in Austin. Then we're going to fly to Florida for the rest of the trip and visit my mom and then my dad. And we get to Austin, had a great first day and a half, got sore throats, got tested, realized that it was COVID, and then basically spent the whole rest of the vacation in 2 hotel rooms in Austin. And that was our vacation. Flew back to Germany right after it. So she was not going to repeat that this time. Yeah, so those of you that have been gone for a while or haven't checked in a while, now we're in Wormsbane, and it's just so big, it's so sprawling that I'm not going to be able to show you everything. But those of you that are saying that looks good, thank you. Folks have done a wonderful job. Pattis was here in chat earlier, and he is definitely the person to congratulate on all of the awesome work in here on the environment side. He and Nick have been hammering away on zone revisions and ignore. There's the occasional lighting issue in here that we'll be fixing, just because there's like a lighting limit and we use the shit out of lights. So there'll be some stuff that we'll be fixing and optimizing in here. But yeah, got ourselves a really big, really fun first dungeon. We'll hopefully be working on our second dungeon in a not too distant future. And I was just jotting down some notes in our wiki last night from vacation on our third dungeon, so should be fun. Speaking of snow, does Eminem have weather yet? Justin, it's got weather, but we've just got rain at the moment. Ali had prototyped a sandstorm, dust storm, sandstorm progression, like year 1. But they're not optimized. Like, I think they're pretty suboptimal, so we don't use those yet. So we'll be working on weather and new weather effects and getting them optimized as well. Nick's been super keen on us getting a new biome as soon as we can. But one of the reasons for getting into like a temperate biome, where we got trees and grass and stuff like that, will be so that we can also play around with and see whether or not we're going to be able to pull off seasons. It was one of the kind of things on our list that was like a stretch, but it's been on our list since day 1, so we want to see if we can do it. So don't be shocked if we want to show some greenery before proof of concept is over. So. What's the target level for the next dungeon? John, we'll have to play with that. Anything I say at the moment, it's completely unvetted with the team. Let's just say it's likely to be higher level than this dungeon. And then what we may find is, as we get more dungeons online, we may tweak population in the various dungeons and have some higher level stuff and lower level stuff sort of pop up in each and change the distribution some. So Justin said, I've been in plenty of sandstorms with my 20 years in Arizona. They've been not fun. I saw there was a like a big ass dust storm. I guess the weather had not only like pulled a cold front or whatever, but then in the middle of two cold fronts, it looked like there was a big dust storm that just went through Texas or something. Yeah, so John, don't quote me on that, but I think that would be the idea, is to sort of, yeah, not have it just be a linear dungeon progression, have it mixed up a little bit. Also, the idea with the next theme is that it may also, well, it should be the first demonstration of our monster city concept. So it'll be a dungeon that you can just treat as a dungeon, or you may find that you're able to faction up with the inhabitants of the dungeon and unlock certain content and kind of treat it as an outpost. But it will affect your faction with other stuff, like maybe Night Harbor. So next dungeon will, I don't think it's a big spoiler to say it, next dungeon will be a Shira focus. Or at least that was the plan. Brendan Emo, thank you very much for that. The game is looking legit. Appreciate it. I probably missed some other stuff up there. Okay. Alright, so let me zone back. Zone. Oh, those of you that haven't been around at all in a while, you notice this orange text down here. It says you notice a glimmer from a crack in the floor. This is one of our text-based interactions, our MUD interaction system, the text-based adventure style system. I probably hit it when I was running through there. We can push it based on, you know, we can push information or interactions based on items that you have or where you're at, or, you know, if you actively look for it, and then you can go through this whole list of verbs of interacting, like looking at the crack and noticing it's a coin, and, you know, maybe you've got to pry it out with a dagger or whatever. So, yeah. That is my simplest sort of, I think that's the quickest I've ever gone over that. If you want more information on it, either ask in Discord or we can talk about it later. Zone Night Harbor. Hope you put some cool pets in. Oh, without a doubt. Coolness will only be constrained by time. As we get more time and resources, we'll put more and more cool stuff in. But we've already got pets. They work. Excuse me. Where was I in Florida? We landed in Orlando, and my parents lived around Ocala, basically. So, in the Ocala area, we spent 2 days at the end of the trip back in Orlando before flying out from there, just so we could go to the water park. We really like the water park there, though. I mean, it's kind of expensive, and we were bummed because we got there and all we wanted to do was get in a lazy river, drink some beers, get in a lazy river, get out, drink something else, get in a lazy river. That's kind of our day at the water park. We're not, you know, we don't necessarily want to get in all the super crazy flumes or whatever, mainly because standing in line is lame. We get there and they're like, the one day that we're going to be able to do lazy river, the lazy river's closed. Everything, like most everything else was open. Lazy river was closed. So they have one that's a little bit crazier, but you're just wearing like a life vest and it's just, you know, it's like crazy river. So we just did that instead. Then we're like, you know what? the hotel right across the street, or yeah, right across the way, Cabana Bay, they've got a lazy river. So tomorrow before our flight, which was until like 7, let's wake up and we'll just hop in that lazy river at the pool. We don't even have to pay anything. And, you know, that'll work. And we wake up and there's dudes with chainsaws chopping tree shit into the lazy river there, and it's all blocked off. So the next day, basically, that one was closed. So we just said screw it. Oh, you know what? Now that I mentioned this story, there's a German water park outside of Berlin that used to be a Zeppelin hangar, like a giant Zeppelin hangar. And now it's like a tropical indoor-outdoor water park. And I was there years ago, like at this point, maybe 5 years ago or 6 years ago. And they were just building the lazy river, but I'm pretty sure the lazy river is done now. So I gotta remember to look into that, because that would give us our lazy river fix. And since it's Germany, naturally you can drink there. Matter of fact, it's probably mandatory. So that'd be cool. So I shouldn't forget that. Rolantica is also nice, near Europa Park. Zerndal, let me go ahead and let me type that in so I don't lose that. Rolantica Water Park. Interesting. What all do they have? Quite new, you think? Oh, the price is so much better. Dude, it was like $70 per person to go to the water park for the day in Orlando. Oh man, look, it's the pirate ship. Okay. All right, I've got it up on the other tab, and this will also then remind me to that will also remind me to look up the other one near Berlin. Swanee. Yeah, Swanee was just in Germany. Said flew out of Orlando, flew Eurowings. Yeah, I think we're Delta, or KLM, Delta on the way there and KLM on the way back. Would be cool if Zeppelins were still a thing. I'm shocked that Zeppelins aren't still a thing. Even groceries in Germany were much better priced than in the States. I really enjoy Germany. Yeah, I noticed that. I went, one of the things I wanted to do when I was in the States was I just went with my parents to the grocery store. Really cool selection. More sugary, crazy food than we could ever imagine. But prices, yeah. Prices in Germany felt pretty decent, relatively speaking. Squiggly lines, thank you for 18 months. Your support, actually, it really does help. The subs add up. They help us chip away a little bit at our sort of recurring operating expenses that we have. We don't have a lot, really, but you know, we do use software and stuff, and some services. So those subs add up. Darendal, yeah, thank you again for that. I'm excited to check it out. Jasmine will be stoked to see it. Halloween event at Europa Park. Yeah, I think it's rad that Germans have gotten into Halloween. Water park around Cincinnati, Ohio has a slide called The Cliff. It's basically a straight drop down from 100 feet or something else really high. Yeah, there's Bullet Catcher. There's one, we did it the last time we were there, in the Volcano Bay, that you go up in all the way up to Volcano. It kind of drops you. I don't know if it's 100 feet, but it's a decent drop. It's just so fast. It's just kind of over with quickly. But we'd planned on hitting that as well. But I think we just got so discombobulated from the lack of lazy rivers that we didn't do much. And drank and hopped into the crazy river thing. Cool. So let me look at my bugs, which I said was going to be the mission today. So let me actually do the mission. Rain in Wormsbane. Does Wormsbane actually have weather? Let me go back then real quick. Let's see if I can easily ascertain that in here. Trying to remember where I would see that. I mean, I guess if I just go into the zone file, I could do it. But with it running Sky and Fog volume. You know what I'll do to double check that really quick? I'll just hop out. I'll actually hop into the scene and see. Because I really wanted to... That was one of my like needs validation type bugs. So let's go to Wormsbane. Leaky Dungeon. Oh. Justin said, you just remind me that one of the other things EverQuest has was outdoor dungeons. You mean the ones that were just sort of a part of the zone, or do you mean like dungeons that are outdoor themed? Like I would assume you would count something like Crushbone as an outdoor dungeon, right? I mean, it's mostly outdoor. Yeah. So the third dungeon we've got on in mind. Oh, I don't need to actually fly around. I just need to look in here. Is there weather? I don't see weather. I mean, unless it was buried somewhere, but it didn't come up when I typed it. So there shouldn't be any opportunity for weather. So like if I go to Night Harbor, it should just clearly show a weather controller. Weather controller, see? All right, so I don't think this bug is valid. So I will make a note and I will close it. And if I'm wrong, then somebody can reopen it. KC is outdoor. Kuros, fair point. Technically Unrest 2. Yeah, so I was about to say the third dungeon, the creepy glowy green castle on the hill that you see when we're in game. That's going to be a mix of indoor outdoor. So you would actually start at the bottom and work your way through the indoor part and then come out to an outdoor, which then has a castle, which will then have kind of that unrest or like Crushbone feel or whatever. So I'm excited about that one. And then the second dungeon, the Ashira one that we're talking about, is going to be a mix of outdoor and indoor as well. Yeah. Excuse me for the burps. The coffee's getting me. Hey, protest the bread. All right, so let's go back in. I'm just hopping in so that you got some background music to listen to. Rain and Wormsbane. So let me open this one and say, I don't see a weather controller in the scene, so I'm not sure how this is possible. And I'll add cannot reproduce. And then if I'm wrong, we can just reopen it. Ariana, good morning. You assign to me. Login bug pulls a train of enemy. Oh, this one's fun looking. It's in Wormsbane too. Protest the Bread said, I really enjoy Eminem's music. Binged it on Robert's channel. Well, thank you. On behalf of Robert and the team. Yeah, I'll just have it playing in the background as well while I'm working. And, you know, it could be the same thing looping for hours and I still enjoy it. So we're really fortunate to have it. Go to 827 -20 -296.9. Oh man, I didn't want to sneeze, but I couldn't. I was like, do I have that button up on the stream deck to mute it? So I put myself into a very weird state. John asked, speaking of music, did you get a chance to take in some Ren? I did. I watched a few of his videos actually, and some reactions to him and all that stuff. Thought it was very interesting. I don't know that I would listen to it a lot. But I liked it, you know, it was interesting, but it's, to me, it's more of a, yeah, it felt like, it's so theatric that it was an interesting to listen to theatrically. You have a foot pedal to mute you for sneezes and coughs, easier to reach really quick. Curse word, usually I'm more on top of my game, but I haven't streamed in a couple weeks. So I could neither mouse over to click the button on Streamlabs, nor was I 100% sure that my mic button was working on the stream deck. So future sneezes will definitely be more pro. Alright, so let me... Okay, so... if I kill this guy... Yeah, again, apologies for the frame rate in editor, but I gotta say, I've been looking at some other games recently, and this is by no means meant to be like casting shade. Oh, are player characters floating again? I got the feeling player characters floating 6 inches off the ground, it's gonna be like our boats. It's always gonna break. It's just gonna keep reappearing and reappearing. But I know with all the character changes that just went in that it's very possible that's what triggered it. Anyways, just looking at the general vibe of our game, you know, the colors and the effects and... Did he interrupt me? You bat. That's amazing. I guess just because I force leveled myself, I don't have any skills up. So what I'll do is I'll cut this guy. And then I will fire off an effect. And then I'll go back to saying what I'm saying. It's just I like the style of our game. And I guess, you know, that's what you're supposed to do. When something's yours, I'm sure. I would hope everybody on the team feels that way. It's like, hey, I like the way our game looks. Oh my gosh. Reload zone. But I've just been compared to some other games that are out there that, you know, they maybe are using newer engine, or not newer engine, but like we use Unity, and I know there's a lot of hype on like Unreal 5 and its lighting and all of that, and there are games that are more modern in their look, etc. I don't know. I like our personality a lot better. Gets me hyped every time I look at it. And when I look at other people's games, again, I'm not, you know, trying to be disrespectful to other games, but I look at it, I just don't feel as engaged as the direction we're going in. So I played a little bit of Dark and Darker before I left. That weekend, I was leaving that weekend, right, and played on that last weekend, and I enjoyed it. I'm amped that a small team's getting the recognition that they are, but I will say that I was thinking about it over the holiday, and it didn't have the same impact on me as my first few hours in like Valheim. You know, so but I'm curious to see what they do with it, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to play with some other folks. But like Dark and Darker, at some point when I've got a chance to get more engaged with it, maybe it'll scratch like that Tarkov itch a little bit more, but I don't know what it was about Tarkov. Like, maybe it was the fact that I could play as a scav, and the fact that it was bigger, more open maps allowed for opportunities to live a bit and have it not just be constant, oh shit, something's biting me, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah. So it's not, it hasn't hit the Tarkov point for me, and it definitely hasn't hit the Valheim feel. Like Valheim to this day, and we didn't play a ton of it, but Valheim still, when I think about that period where it was, you know, the handful of us from the team and D and some other folks in there, I get nostalgic for that period of time where we were playing Valheim together. Like me and Nick, like pulling carts to weird places to mine, and then I think D and I don't know if Nick was there as well, but like there was one night where there's just like an epic cart journey and all that shit, and then yeah, so I mean, yeah. Mascast says your aesthetic is excellent. I'm tired of the same Unreal Engine MMO look I keep seeing other places. Yeah, and to me that look has been almost the same for just maybe better quality or whatever for like 16, 17 years. It's why I'm so anti, like, I don't know, you know, various height mapping, bump mapping, normals, whatever it is. I'm not an artist, but when I ignore the lighting bug right here. Like I said, we'll be fixing some lighting issues, but when I look at this wall, I don't want it to shine anywhere. Yeah, it became a joke early on of like too shiny, but when I look at these cobblestones, I don't need some bullshit like little technical glimmer to let me know that it's bumpy, that it's got depth. If we could, if the thing that we talked about early on was, if we can get that same sort of, that sense of depth in these cracks and stuff, with it still having a very matte feel, then cool, right? Like if we're looking at cracks and there's depth to the crack, but it's matte, there's not a single bit of silly ass shine on it. Wonderful. But I'm looking around my room right now. There's all sorts of depth. None of it's shiny. There's no shine. I mean, hell, I've got this Elgato LED lamp thing blasting against a stucco wall. It looks nothing like what I see in all these other games. So if what I'm saying is silly or ignorant on the tech or art side, then let me know. Alright, so the bug that I'm supposed to be vetting here is when I log out at this location and log back in theory, so let me camp. Excuse me. It pulls a train of enemies. The person may be mistaken. They may have been, because I noticed when I would come up into this doorway here, then I get I basically pull the entire room. So aggro should be on. I thought it was on because I zoned. I just had some stuff clobber me in the face, so it should be good. Broomch. Make a skeletal dungeon polisher that goes around shining up all the... We should have an NPC that's like a dungeon polisher. A stone polisher. Ariana says, I'm actually in the initial design stages of making a single-player fake MMO with simulated players, trying to target that EverQuest Vanguard vibe, but seeing how this basically nails it makes me wonder if I should try too hard. There's actually, I was speaking with, over the last week or two, one of the two people working on it, I don't want to screw the name up, and I always screw names and stuff up whenever I'm on stream. So let me just go and make sure it's Legends of Old. Oh man, I knew that. So anyways, speaking to one of the developers of Legends of Old, if you check that out, it's also a single player game inspired by old MMOs. So check out Legends of Old. And Ariana, they may be somebody, if you're planning on working on a similar game, maybe hit them up. They may need help. I don't know. But the individual I spoke to is very nice. Hey, Keith. Okay, so logging in, I don't get any train to zone here. But watch, or I'm sorry, train to zone. Why is speaking so hard? So, but if I come up here, I sure get I get a lot of enemies. I am getting thrashed. So this is probably what they ran into. That is quite dim lighting for a dungeon. Is that intended? Yeah, it is. So let me reload the zone so that stopped. We may do some minor tweaking later just, you know, when we're looking at differences between hardware, etc. But one thing to consider is it's a dungeon. Another thing to consider is I don't have an active light source. So, and that one's used up. So SI torch. So this is the dungeon with a light source. Light sources matter a fair bit to us. If you look at the torch, it says charges, but essentially there's all of our light sources have a duration. We've got lamps that you can refuel. And then as we put in different abilities, or we have certain items that also provide lighting, then they'll have an impact as well. Yeah, so with torch, without torch. CJ said, I'm currently trying to get off my antidepressants, so having a very nauseous day. Well, don't look at my screen because I'm very twitchy when I'm in here. But he said, so it's nice to have a comfy space to tune into. I appreciate, in all honesty, no bullshit. I appreciate that you consider this a comfy space. Can you light someone on fire? Interesting. Spells that then make the enemy serve as a light source for a while. Justin Beard, I don't know that we've got anything like that in at the moment, but now that you mention it, it may be an idea for us. You'll be able to purchase a founder's package to get an infinite light source. No. Tape a torch to your character's head. Keep a hand free. Oh, you might be able to find like a little miner's helmet or something. Alright, so let me go back to this bug, and I will say unable. Oh, sorry, cannot reproduce. And I'll put a note in here, says it seems like they or actually I'll say it likely they logged in bit closer to the patrol than they realized, which then pulls the whole room of like, how many mobs is that? Turn aggro off. Oh, but that's not a patrol, I don't think. So logged in a bit closer to reload. Or is it a patrol? It is a patrol. Okay. Turn aggro off. Leave me alone. What about dual wielding torches? You can, but you but it doesn't make you twice as bright. Could you toss a vial of oil, break it, and then throw a torch on it? If we get fancy later, maybe. In theory, we've got the tech to be able to support that, Nordan. I don't think we've really discussed or worked on concepts of that sort yet. That said, I'm fairly certain Luna's mentioned a few different things about, like, environmental interaction with different stuff and, you know, kind of the Zelda, Divinity sort of style RPG stuff, so. Check my PMs. I never check PMs. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you for the additional information. Adding some note. Let me try something then. BanR22 said, getting depression medication withdrawal doesn't feel good. I hear getting off depression medication can be difficult, so hopefully that person is going through it will feel better soon. Yeah. All right, so with this new info, let me see if I can recreate this bug. Justin Beard said, I actually was misdiagnosed for almost a decade. They already got me on medication that does help. Yeah, I was misdiagnosed. Well, I mean, I don't think you could be misdiagnosed really, but it was kind of a bullshit diagnosis for like 3 years or something. When I was just working on DC Universe is extremely stressful, anxiety-ridden project for a lot of us. Wound up on benzodiazepines for like 3 years, and it, well, first of all, there are giant gaps in my memory from that period of time based on it, but then also, yeah, it was just, my health was garbage because of it. And then even with me living as healthy a lifestyle as I possibly could, that's when I had first got into jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai and all that stuff, and was just, but yeah, so doctor gave me a bunch of stuff for much longer than I should have been, and I just had to, I went to rehab for 30 days to get off, and I'm really glad that I did, but it took me, I would say, over a year to, after rehab, to get rid of all of the like various withdrawal symptoms and stuff. Like, no bullshit. I look back and it's like a surreal period of time, but yeah, so I tell people all the time to watch out and take that kind of stuff seriously, and also get professional help. And you shouldn't feel any shame. If anything, feel the opposite. If you know, I think, you know, I feel like if I had not just kind of owned up and was like, because I wound up being the one that said, I was like, I have to go get this fixed. And I had a job offer and everything. They wound up, I had to push my start date back until I got out of rehab and like tell them, hey, sorry, in rehab. And they were super cool about it, very supportive. And, but yeah, I don't know how I would have like survived if I hadn't. And it was all shit a doctor prescribed me. So definitely don't play around with that. It was just wild. It took a year to have everything get back to even somewhat normal. Well, C-Jack, I'm glad you got friends looking after you. It's very helpful, especially if you live in like a different country and everything. That's good to hear. Yeah, don't you know, I'm not gonna pry in your business or whatever, but I would say that you know, the support that I've found in both Germany and Sweden in terms of like therapists and stuff have been really amazing. And they're, you know, at least for me and what I ran into was not like, hey, here, take these pills. It was more like, here, let's actually teach you some stuff. So, zone worm, Worms Bane 2. Like learning about cognitive distortions and cognitive behavioral therapy and all sorts of other stuff that's helpful. Go to 8. Oops. Well, that doesn't appear to be where I needed to go. Oh, there's a negative there. Thank you, San. Rev only said, wow, they still give out benzos. I would have thought that after the 50s, they would have stopped that. No, they give them out a ton. Give them out a ton. Xanax and Ativan and all sorts of stuff like that. My pet's just going to town. Reload zone. First, I may have another question for you in a second. Oh, there we go. Interesting. I was not expecting that, so let me pay attention this time. Alright, so my pet's engaging. Oh, okay. But is this a pet bug though? Make yourself invulnerable and try something out. Because it feels like the cleric without LOS sees that the paladin is losing hit points, decides to Oh, you're right. It's not from in-room. Alright, let's do this again then. Reload zone. If I turn my aggro off, my pet still has them. So I've got my aggro off now. Well, now these are definitely from in room because he followed me. So let's reload. Do the skeletons laugh? They do laugh. Hey, MMO Pug. Where are these guys coming from? Oh, it doesn't help that, it doesn't help that... my aggro is then turned back on because... Alright, so... Ow. And then if I do this too soon, it just puts me back there. Wait. Alright. Ooh, you know what I could do? That'll work. Because I am an editor. Okay, they're coming from there. They killed me. Holy shit. Oh, my character is only level 29. All in the name of validating this bug. Putting my life on the line to see what this bug's about. Okay, he went on Team Drag his corpse. Aggro off. Invulnerable. What? Okay, aggro back off. Okay. Abilities. Data. Um, move this over here. Don't matter. Hey, Gulo.
Welcome back, Sean. I missed ya and the M&M team.
Thank you very much. And thank you for 6 months, J-Pombo. All right. So, vulnerability is enabled. Reload. I still can't see very well. But first, I think your guess is correct. Just trying to... Yeah. Stop that. Nicodemus, thank you for your generosity in gifting gift subs to Dviz22 and Citrus Chrome. I have no idea what I just did to my editor. I'm enjoying it just locking up right now. So let me read this message real quick. It's weird behavior. So aggro's back on. Invulnerability on. Reload zone. That pet kills him too fast. So my assumption then is, I guess I need a weaker pet. My assumption is if I go to me again. Hey, Zuby. needs to recompile shaders.
Woohoo.
Hey, Choclar. Thank you for 5 months. How was vacation? It was good. Super relaxing. Got to hang out with my mom for a few days, my dad for a few days. My dad's this like burly biker. Big old burly biker dude. And we get there and he doesn't have like Wi-Fi. He just uses his data plan on his phone. He and my stepmom just have smartphones and they use that, and they buy DVDs. They just watch DVDs when they want to watch them. They don't stream anything. And so it's kind of funny, like I would have to use their hotspot a couple times a day, just kind of check in, see what's going on online, make sure I wasn't missing anything critical. But the DVDs that we ended up watching were Downton Abbey. So my burly biker dad has watched Downton Abbey. He owns all the Downton Abbey DVDs, including the movies. And so we basically, while hanging out with him, we just ate a lot of good home cooking. He had a brisket in a smoker. So he had a brisket in a smoker the first night. And my stepmom's just, she can cook some country foods, like cheese breakfast with like scrambled eggs and cheese grits and bacon and something else and sweet tea with like 2 cups of sugar per pitcher. Is like super down home cooking. And yeah, my dad's back. He basically had to get plates running all the way down his spine with these like crazy, you look at the x-rays and it just looks like, you know, sheetrock screws or something like gnarly, just all the way down. So, you know, he's in discomfort most of the time, and he'll be able to get comfortable. And so we weren't going to be running around a bunch and stuff. We, you know, hopped in the pool one day and all that, but so it was really cool to just be able to sit with him and, you know, watch TV, and we just like were enthralled by Downton Abbey for the days that we were there with him. And I really like the show. I'm really into it. Jasmine's really into it. So, we want to wrap up the series. I think we've got 1 season left, and then the movies, and then we'll rewatch it. It's super cozy. It's super, I don't know, man. Like it's a very enjoyable show. So I get it. I was shocked as well that he was into it, but sure enough, he was. All right, so my pet's too gnarly. So it kills the NPC before I have the ability to, I think before it has the ability to get help from the other NPCs, which is causing the train. Alright. Can I kill my pet with /kill? Is that gonna like kill the server or something? Okay. Because I don't, do we have pet dismiss yet? Or any means of, I don't think we do. Maggie Smith steals the show in your opinion? Who is she? Which character? You watch Gossip Girl with your wife? That's cool. I'm trying to think. There's another one that I enjoyed like that. Lady Grantham? Is that the American Mom, or is that's not Violet, right? The much older lady? The old lady? Yeah, she is awesome. She is awesome. I love the relationship between the the two oldest ladies. The relationships throughout. I'm a sucker for that, man. I love it. It's great. Choosing Harry Potter? If you say so, I'm sure I've seen it. I should probably go watch those again at some point. I didn't retain them very well. I think I was just I wasn't as into it or of the right age. I don't know. It didn't hit me the same way it hit other people. But maybe that's why she looks so familiar. Anyway, so let me summon a lower level pet. She also played in the 70s Clash of the Titans? Really? Who was she in that? My wife overheard in the kitchen, is he mentally ill? About the Harry Potter or about the Downton Abbey? Oh. No, I'm not saying it's bad. First's wife, if you can hear me in the kitchen, you need to chill. First of all. Having such a strong reaction. You need to, ma'am, you need to calm down. Take a breath. Step one. And I know women love to hear men tell them to calm down. So now you probably need to calm down from my first instruction. So instruction 2 is no, for real. Calm down. I was gonna say, I believe I would actually enjoy the whole Harry Potter thing a lot more if I sit down and went through it again, because again, there's that whole idea of it's a big house, and you know, all your friends are there and your enemies are there, and you know, it's just one of my most memorable moments in life was I when I was a young boy living in Germany. My dad was in the army. I had a medical condition, went into a coma for a few days, woke up in a German hospital, and spent a few weeks in a German hospital in a ward where it was all just other kids. It was like the children's ward. And our beds were like these cool, like carved out, like it was like ships and all this other stuff. And, you know, we got to watch TV together and hang out together. And being an army kid, I didn't necessarily have a ton of friends all the time. I was usually pretty solitary, or few friends in village or whatever. So being around all these other kids, and it was just like, it was very much like a Peter Pan type of thing. And so, yeah, it was just like, when I see some of these other movies or shows or whatever that are kind of like based in an estate, kind of like Downton Abbey, or with the focus being, I'm assuming a fair bit of it, the Academy and Harry Potter and all that stuff, it's like, I find there's something really cool and cozy about that. So, that's my story. Let's see. So it's not going to aggro me until I have a pet. Oops. Cast. See if I can channel through this and actually get a pet. Oh, I'm invulnerable, so. Let's see. Well, now that I actually have this set up to where I can see what's happening, it's not happening anymore. Oh, we do have pet dismissed. Awesome. Thank you. Oh yeah, if we could drop the Harry Potter, the J.K. Rowling controversy stuff and move on to a different topic, that'd be awesome. Let's see. Let's try this again. Ah, no worries. Let's see. I like to think of us as an escape. Oh, back in the corner. I'm getting secret messages on the side, sorry. You know what fantasy series they need to do? Dragonlance? One of Dragonlance TV series. If it was done well and if the authors would actually get paid for it, that'd be awesome. Other corner? Okay. I'm gonna keep bouncing to corners until I'm in the right one. I've got an eye on my tails though. Was I in the wrong corner? Pet was distinctly on the wall. Okay. Get a repop. Is this the right corner though? Do you think? Cool. All right. We've been here long enough that when I hit repop, hopefully. Okay. Are you planning to include quest chains like cultivating shawl or ring? Love the mix of trade skills and combat encounters. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we do. I can't remember. We may have. I'd have to look exactly at what Luna was doing, but there may already be a little bit of like trade skilly stuff going on. Pretty sure it's skeleton in front of the tomb, behind you aggroing and then running around the corner. So this guy. And then he's coming through and he's pulling all of these guys. So if that should be easy enough to check if we can just get it to happen again. So now this pet is too powerful, so pet Dismiss. Does tab targeting go through walls? It doesn't, but I'm thinking that maybe a heal from this guy onto this guy is going through walls, and then would that make sense? Try to get as close over here as possible. Oh, yep. You are correct, as you often are, sir. That's exactly what's going on. Cool. I mean, it's fairly straightforward. It's just nice to have validation. I can do a quick screen grab. Has the laughing driven you crazy yet? Oh, they're already coming. I didn't even need the pet. Have trade skills been implemented yet? Yeah, they have. We've got an initial, like, an initial pass of trade skills in. You know, just to kind of get things started. But I think there's going to be a bunch that we want to do. They're already on the way. Are they on the way? No, they came around the other way this time. And... Okay. It's interesting that this happens here. Alright, so what we're going to do is... aggro off. Reload zone. Oh, well. Cool. Oh. I think me switching the lighting in scene view has actually impacted my frame rate even more in editor, so I may have to restart the editor in a sec. So he is 6451. Go to 6451. All right, so I'm over here now. In theory, I should be able to do the same thing with this guy. I come back here. Don't think maybe he's not close enough to the wall. Good morning, Dark Inside. Super secret DM helper, what do you think? Would you expect similar behavior? I mean, it's a similar setup. I'm thinking same mob type. Paladin. Reload the zone. But now he's not very close to the wall. Reload again. Pet summon might move pet closer to you wall. Where would you be? It's, yeah, I mean, it's, I think the geo is probably the same. I think it's mainly maybe it's the mob's position this time. Yeah, there may be a slight difference there, but I guess what it's telling me then is that we've got to look at just isolating why they're interacting through geo that way. And I might have just wasted like whatever 40 minutes looking at something that if Nick or Ollie were to look at it, it would just be dead obvious to them. But I can at least put the notes in here now, and I can send them to my secret helper as well here. So oops. It's a bug mystery that's kept up to entertainment. Not wasted time at all. Oh, cool. Yeah, I was hoping that by trying to figure some of these out on stream, while it's still, I'm sure, much slower than doing it when not on stream, there might be an opportunity. One, this was helpful because I got lots of great assistance from you guys. But two, it may be, you know, something that folks enjoy looking at instead of me just running around zones. And I'm not saying this would necessarily be an example of something, you know, for, like I said, if Ollie or Nick were in here, maybe they'd be, oh, I know why this is happening pretty quickly. But I will say, just generally speaking, those of you that aren't in game development, this type of just sort of looking at something and trying to figure out exactly what's different here. It could be something as simple as the distance here between this guy and this guy, you know, that wall position versus this guy over here, which in theory we could get in and actually adjust and kind of see. Well, not in theory, shit, we could just do that. But anyways, that type of debugging, sometimes those will be the things that wind up taking up. You can implement a whole bunch of stuff in a short amount of time. Like in an hour, you could get all these things done. But then you may find a bug like this that you then spend 3 hours on. Why the hell is this happening? Sometimes you just find a little band-aid solution. Speaking of the devil, what's up, Nick? 33 months is a pretty big number. Yeah, so it's just I was just looking at this. One of the bugs I got in a bug report. Essentially, if you log back in or have aggro and you've got a pet and this guy's near this wall, then this guy winds up getting aggro and pulling. It looks like it looks like it picked. I could have sworn one time it went down one side and one time it went down the other. But essentially, it aggroes this guy through here, and then he brings a whole train to you. And I was just curious if we could get the same thing to happen over here with this guy. And it hasn't happened so far. And it's like, maybe it's just we're not getting him in the right position. But either way. And I was telling folks, I was like, this is probably one of those things that Ollie or Nick looks at and goes, oh, okay, it makes sense that that this bug exists or whatever, but I know why it's happening. So
Progress looking amazing.
thanks, Kimmery. Thank you for 7 months. But yeah, we haven't been able to make it happen over on this side. But this guy's positions also, he's not really against the wall. So, it could be, I mean, it could be that little bit of distance right there. But it's happening pretty immediately on the other side. Droop said, when I did QA work years and years ago, every time I found a weird, obscure bug, the devs always laughed and said, I wondered when you'd find that. They always knew the reason right off the bat. Oh man, that's always nice when that happens. When you find it and they also know what the cause is. Yeah, Nick finds all sorts of shit that I was just like, why would you even do that? Like I said, if it's strictly a positioning thing, I guess in theory we could load up the Worm's Bane data, enable. Okay. So just move this position to be as close to the wall as possible. Do walls block aggro? It looks almost like social aggro range pulling through the wall behind you. Yeah, they should. But the fact that they're not in this case, I think, is what's interesting. Hey, VGF Bex. Can you turn off your Discord noises, bro? Man, Brumbra says. Are you actually... I haven't been paying attention to him. Are you hearing him? Yeah, sorry about that. There you go, homie dude, bro. Brah. I fist it for you. It's been turned off. Oh, you guys are probably hearing them even louder because I'm not listening to the same thing you are. Yeah, sorry about that. So I don't think it's a distance thing because this guy's even closer than this guy was, right? Because I've actually moved him over here. So let me put him back since I've disturbed the scene a little bit here. From position, save. Kill. Did I read Nick's Beetlejuice comment? Oh, the Beetlejuice comment about Nick? Nick is like Beetlejuice. You say coding bug out loud 3 times and he will appear. It's uncanny. Man is everywhere. I was actually trying to think of something smart to say about him actually being Beetlejuice and causing weird shit to break. So look. Yeah, it's specific to this area. I didn't even have to have a pet. I just needed to pop over there. Which is a very different experience from over here. So, same mob types. Basically, if you look at it visually, it's roughly the same. It's almost roughly the same everything. Ooh, see, this is why Nick is pro at what he does. If I get it targeted, can I cast through the wall on it? That is such a good question. Other than like go to him and target him and then go back, is there an easy way to do that from here? In editor, let me. I mean, I guess I could just do that though, right? Let me dump this. Disable. This guy is 7420. Got him targeted. Do I lose target when I don't. So I still have him targeted. I don't have any spells. What would be a good spell to cast, Nick? Cool. I'm unable to see my target. Maybe there's a crack in the wall and the skeleton is a peeping Tom. Have Pattis create a crack there. Error fixed. Yeah, just put a crack there and then the behavior will be totally normal. That's one way to fix it. Baffling. That's the make an expansion 3 months, EverQuest way. Yeah. I mean, if you run into something you just can't figure it out. Do I have a point blank AoE spell I can cast from that position? There's probably something in here that I could use. I'm going through the database and actually trying to figure out what I would use. Try Flame Nova or Noxious Spit. Cool. Didn't hit the other dude. It's noxious spit. Well, I just hit a bunch of other shit. How big is that AoE? Does that one ignore line of sight? Yeah, I mean, I just hit a bunch of stuff outside the room. I'm assuming I hit these guys right here, though. So, yeah, they are in line of sight. I was trying to figure out where they were, but I'm assuming that's them. And if I turn aggro on and do it again real quick, I'm sure we'll know for sure. Yeah, here they come. Yep. Oops. Reposition you. Reposition you. Come here. Here they come. It's not the size of the AoE, but how you use it that matters. Hello, D-Loves Pudding. Quite the entry. Like, these guys are coming from way to hell down here as well. Watch, she goes. What did I ever do to these guys? All right, I'm gonna reset them real quick, just so you don't lose your mind. And it was not happening over here. Could not get it to happen over here. With essentially the same setup. Are the rooms on the same plane / level? I tried to look at that, John. It appeared that they were. And like I said, this feels like it's fairly... You know, it's kind of a little bit, feels a little duped out, right? Like it. And so, yeah, it's just a difference of behavior between these two. Comment, I'll note that the distance between you and that NPC is longer than usual aggro, if I'm not mistaken. And the mobs piled in the room that aggro's looks slightly higher up. Not sure if that'd make a difference though. Small ramp forward standing. What about the levels of the mobs in question? I'm gonna assume that they're at the same level. All right, so stats. Assume NPCs have a Z-axis in their loc. Can you just compare the two? Oh. Let's see. 296.96. Oh, that's that guy. This guy is 297. Two 297.3. So, I mean, they're not exactly the same, but Vagrant, thank you for popping in. Hope you have a decent time at work. I mean, they're not precisely the same, but I mean, it's not that big a difference. How good is your eye to spot that? I'll give that. I'll give it to you. I pulled something similar to that a little while back, and I was very impressed with myself as well, so I'll give it to you. My wife and I were somewhere, and we were looking at, because my wife's been learning to shoot, so we're getting her an airsoft gun, just to use in practicing when she's not at the range. And the lady handed us two different I mean, they should have been identical model Glock, and I was like, this one's heavier. She's like, no, they should be the same weight. I'm like, this one's heavier. And so she had a scale, and she put them both on there, and it was again something ridiculous like that. You know, it was like 2 grams or 3 grams or something. I was like, spent the whole rest of the day like, hell yeah, super eyes. All right. Well, I think unless there's some other good ideas in here, I've exhausted. I think we have eliminated a number of things. I can type them in the comments on this bug. I've removed the needs verification. It no longer needs verification. It has been verified. I've got a good point of contact for additional info on this, since I now know who submitted the bug. And I can just type up some quick notes on here, and then we'll just save those notes, and we'll see if there's another bug to look at. And I will say, those of you that actually, I'll save that. Blah, 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 blah. Essentially, NPC in the room is being assisted by the NPC in the cubby behind it. Which then pulls a train to the room. Do you think it's a collider issue? It might be, right? Like, it could be something with the and is there an easy it feels like every time I click on Geo and then try to look at like shit, I get bogged down and I don't know what I'm doing. So, you know, I'm going to hand this off to the experts to look at after I write it up. And yeah, if they can look at the collider and see if there's like a gap or something. Other thing, this is not it, but let me look real quick. AI navigation. Like there's no obvious... I just... It just appears to be identical, no? Code Matt, or can I just call you Matt? Is there an easy way? You know what? Let me just click on it and inspector. Is there an easy way to see the collider? Behind the NPC that aggroes is the nav area. Is there a nav area? It seems there is a nav area. It seems, and it's smaller, not there on the other. Oh, let me look again then. I mean, we've got mesh collider, but is there like, would I need to put a material on it or something to see it? That's like a Pattis question. Spell working as intended. AoEs bring the house down in weird and fantastic. This isn't even an AoE. We couldn't. This is just this guy. If you engage him, he's 191 over here is really close to. Maybe they're twins. Maybe they've got like a weird twin bond. Window, AI, navigation. I really hope that. Well, you're right. There is a little bit of a nav. I mean, that's different. Nothing should be linking the aggro between these guys, Kimmery. Is there anything above them? Not really. So 192 and 191. What I love though is even on the data side, these guys are kind of twinsies. So this guy is 191. How did Nick pull that off? This one's 192. That one's 47. That one's 48. Is that a nav mesh above the square box? Yeah, but it's the same on both sides. That's the only difference. Is that little chunk of nav mesh there. Don't think that would be it. Unless the nav mesh somehow gives him another little... No, because the nav mesh here goes all the way to... Right here, this edge. This one's... Oh, yeah, it's the same. It's... Whoa. That's the only difference, man. I'll take a screenshot of it. Because that's the only thing I can really see that looks different. Yeah, well, it is connected. It's going under the floor visually. So what I'll do is grab this, get into paint, crop, here, so we've got Um. Maybe looking at it in reverse, maybe the mob in the room you start in is somehow linked to the mesh on the other side because aggro. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but it sounds good. Matt said, love your level design, looks clean. That is all Pattis is doing. But he may see this. I will thank you for him either way. Alright. So we've got more information. Essentially NPC in the room, and now I can even label him. 191 is being assisted by the NPC in the cubby behind it. 48, which is, there he is, there's Pattis. Is there an aggro radius? Can you turn it down? Yeah, there is, and we can. If I had to guess, these mobs are identical. Zoidberg, maybe we could just do that really quick, and because it's so easy to repop, and then see with the aggro radii turned way down, if this happens, and then we assume it's an aggro thing, which I think we're assuming anyway, but why not? Let me finish typing this and then we'll see. I'll delete this other image I was going to post in here. Essentially, the NPC in the room, 191 is being assisted by the NPC and the cubby behind it. 48, which then pulls screen to the room. Try to replicate this on the other side. Oh, Pattis is in here as well. Yeah, dude, we can't find anything different between these two, and yet the behavior is different. Try to replicate this on the other side with 192 and 47, but couldn't get 47 to train in the same manner. Post the screenshots. And yeah, for giggles, let's try that. These guys are, I think, Paladin. What do we say here? They're Paladin 08s. Scale Paladin 08. So if we go into the NPC table, Galleys. Or something. Galleys. Underscore pal. Cool. If we look at Skeleton Paladin 08, we'll just double check to see if there's anything. It's very consistent. Aggro back range 5, aggro front range, social help range. It is an odd one. Is there an easy way to... So, Pattis, one of the questions that came up was whether or not it's like a collider issue. We tried to cast some different spells to check line of sight and stuff like that. And didn't get anything that was like an obvious... It just, you know, was firing through the wall. Nick had suggested tab targeting the guy, couldn't do anything to him, right? So it is blocking... It is blocking line of sight for the spell system. Let me turn this off. It'll run smoother and save our eyeballs. Alright, so I could go in here now, and data wise this is the same setup. Like, these guys are identical. So Reaper the Demon said, "Can't wait to try this game. Been watching this for a while now. Much excite." Very cool. Thank you. It's going to be super exciting for us to get to a point where we can have all of you come in and take your first peek at it. And then we'll be very curious to see what everybody thinks. You're a huge EQ fan? Cool. Reaper, when did you first play EQ? Alright, so let me reduce this to 5. When I was way too young to be playing on a computer. Right on. That's a common, I think that's a fairly common response in here. Alright, so let me... Cool, I'm going to reload zone. It should repopulate it with this database change. Gaming made / ruined you. I got very fortunate with my gaming timing as it relates to all this stuff. Beautiful spell effect. Thank you. I'm thanking you for Zukin. Zukin's been working on them. They're coming together really nicely. As you can tell, we like colors. Lots of colors. Alright, so... I can generate aggro now. We were able to trigger this without pet last time, right? I'll summon one just in case. Also, remember a few episodes ago where you're adding toggleable backpacks? Oh, yeah. Well, they're not toggleable yet, but you can take them off and on. We'll put some toggles in for stuff like that later. But we do have backpacks. Okay, so I reduced their social help range from 10 to 5. And this is not happening now. So what I'm going to do is... I'm going to turn off my aggro. Kill this guy for now. Come back in. Set it back to 10. We're gonna reload the zone. For those of you that are curious, I'm over here in the design database. And so I reset its social help range back to 10. Did I hit reload zone? I'll hit reload zone again just in case. Okay, here we are. Yes, you know what? I'm gonna donate again. Just because we get so much utility out of this, I'm gonna do a better donation and email the guy this time because it's pretty cool. I mean, it's also a German developer, so that's kind of cool. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, it's this button up here. But you've got to email the guy and like I don't know, I guess show him the PayPal receipt. ups. And then he gives you the code to. Okay, so aggro on again. Yeah. Some smaller creators do that to prevent people unpacking and reselling their work. Yeah, no, it's not a slight on them at all. It's just the manual process is the only reason, like the emailing them. I should have just done it the day I donated. Oops. As a matter of fact, I was kind of surprised at the last company I worked at a small company in Sweden, for those of you that are new here or whatever. Worked at a small company in Sweden, and one of the women that I worked with came up to me one day and was like, "Hey, I've got a question for you because you're a producer type, blah blah blah. Work on a small app on the side." Like my friend and I work on a small app on the side, and we've been contacted by extremely huge company about licensing our app that we work on. It's an app for artists. And I was like, oh, okay. What app is it? And she said, PureRef. And PureRef is used by tons of people, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not an artist, but I know we use it. Yeah, so it was funny working at this small company and having, one of the people that's an artist at the company who's just got a little side project in it, but it's an app that like tons and tons and tons of people use. And I think it's just donation based as well. I'm looking right now. But I mean, enough people use it that I'm shocked that she even still works there. Okay, so that bug, we've got some new info I can put on there. You know what we can now do? Just to be really silly, we can go to the other guy. Which one was he? Oh, he's got a different number now? Yeah, that makes sense. I guess. So if we go to this guy, who is 9441. Wonder if there will be an intelligent magic item in game. Backpack constantly complains every time you max out your capacity. Oh no, I couldn't eat another bite. I'm stuffed. No more, no more. Going to ruin my satchel-like figure. You know, Nicodemus, we want that functionality for some other stuff, item-wise, that we would do. So I could definitely see a cursed backpack. I could see that. Don't let us forget that idea. Like a cursed backpack. That complains as you put more stuff in it. Maybe it's got like weight reduction. Maybe it's one of those rare weight reduction backpacks that we put in there. But the problem is it's just constantly complaining, and maybe occasionally it just throws an item out. Like, puh. And so you've got to actually watch the text, because if you don't watch the text, you won't see that it spit an item out. So you've actually got to watch the text. So you've got to read its complaints. Otherwise, you're going to miss when it spits an item out. Brilliant idea. I know. All right. Aggro on. So he's aggroing. What if it eats your snacks? Maybe that's what it does, D. It eats your snacks. Even if they're not in the backpack. But I guess that's kind of what a pack animal will do. It's a backpack that eats your food. All right, so this guy doesn't do the same thing, but let's go back into the database. You missed it earlier. I was waxing nostalgic about the good old days of when we were playing Valheim. Like, oh my gosh, it was just so wonderful. It was so like cozy. I'd log in and it's like watching an episode of Cheers or the Newhart show for me or something. All right, so I'm gonna bump this up to 15 social help range. A reload zone. All right, so I've bumped the social range up. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna make it even crazier. 20. I'm doubling it. Cool. And then I'm gonna, nope. I'm gonna reload zone. So it's got to be something with the geo, if I had to guess. Because on this guy, in reducing the social range from 10 to 5, it stopped the problem. Bump it back up to 10, problem exists again, right? So these guys are collaborating at that range. This guy is now got 20, so doubled it. This dude don't care. And since it's bumping it up for paladins, and I'll double check, but he should just be stats. He's not. Has he always been 7? Let me check the encounter table. Hey, Retro Gamer. Did I have any involvement with EQ2? I didn't. I was on that team for like a week or 2 weeks or whatever week, and decided I didn't really want to be on that team. So that's when I moved over to Planet Side. The block is two-sided, whereas the walls are one-sided. Would that have anything to do with it? Is it Jedis or Jedis? Ask. But they're the same on both. I think they're the same. Jedis. Okay. Are your monster origins at the ground? They look like they're fairly consistent. Oh no, and we even looked at it. They're barely different in terms of like their z-axis. Is it safe to assume that undead paladins are evil? Do they maintain their paladin powers after death or during undeath? I think it's safe to say that these guys aren't friendly. They're malevolent in nature. Okay, so... Okay, 6 through 8. These are all using the same encounter table. So maybe we got lucky? Dark Inside, I don't think the game would have been better with me on the team. I probably would have been fired if I was on EQ2 for any length of time. In all seriousness, not being snarky at all. I don't think I would have been able to deal with it. How come the undead paladins are not shadow knights? That's the real question. Because in our crazy zany game, shadow knights can be good and evil. Paladins can be good and evil. Rather than making a shadow knight just an anti-paladin, we'll have paladins be played as anti-paladins depending on sort of how they progress. And shadow knights can be they can use the powers that they acquire for both positive or negative, good or evil purposes. They just have different powers and a different theme. No. Is it under Inde to tell us? I didn't like the tools when I got there, and it was too late for me to make any changes to the tools. I didn't like the way they structured their data, like in their tool sets. I felt the art direction was going to limit the success of the game. Zarandal, you're very welcome. Thanks for being here. I did a horrible job of letting people know about the mailing list and our Discord today. I've just been so engrossed in trying to figure out this bug. But thank you for the tip on the water park. Zarandal, vielen Dank. If you're German. I guess is you had a different way of seeing what the game would have been. I wouldn't have been in the same leadership position. They already had a content lead. I would have been coming in as just kind of like a senior designer, I think. I don't remember. Maybe I would have been a lead of something. I don't know, but I thought they already had some people there. They pulled Rich, Scott, and me off of the team to go assist, off of EQ to go assist EQ2, but I don't think we're necessarily getting direct lateral transitions in. And so overall, I wasn't amped on the art style. I wasn't amped on the tools. A lot of the lore had already been kind of set up, and I was kind of ambivalent on it. I was basically like, if I was gonna work on a fantasy MMO, I'd rather just stay on EQ. Like, don't pull me off of EverQuest to work on another fantasy MMO that I'm not even as into gameplay wise. Thank you, Nicodemus, but I'm pretty sure I was slacking on this even before then. Let me see if I just reload zones so I don't have to change all of these. Now, don't get me wrong. After the fact, I think EQ2 did a lot of really cool stuff. And, you know, credit to those guys. And Newlike asked who made the Freeport revamp. We're going to blame that on Ryan. Whenever he's in chat, we can go ahead and hound him about that. What was the process like to move between teams at SOE? Did they let you move as you wished, or did you have to get approval? You could kind of move as you wish, depending on like who you are and how critical you were to the team you were on, what the team you wanted to go to needed, whether or not they liked you, generally speaking, or, you know, that for me, it was kind of a love-hate, off-and-on relationship. Sometimes they really liked me, and sometimes they just thought I was a major asshole. Let me get a stats on this guy and see. Which level is he? He's 8, so... Yeah, I mean, I can just change all of these really quick, and I'll change them back. 20... and 20. But I don't think it's making the difference. I don't think it's based on the NPC. I do think it's like geo-based or something like that. Reload zone again and see if this does anything. Yeah. So I'm just going to leave it as there's something different between these locations for now. And let me finish typing up the comments here. I was just checking Slack to make sure I wasn't missing like some messages from Nick or Ollie or somebody was like, "Dummy, this is what's going on. We've been trying to tell you." Like, yeah. Yeah, Justin, if my computer back then would run EQ2 as well as my PC does today, I think I would have enjoyed it even more. And to be honest, as a player, I got in there and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And I liked a lot of the even little things like at the time, you know, the achievements and the collecting shinies and putting shinies on the auction house, you know, and all of that stuff. I love the collections. There's a lot of that shit that I really liked, and it was cool to be in a world that was nostalgic and, you know, seeing different takes on things. And so it's not a criticism of the game. It just wasn't a development process that I would have fit into very well, I don't think. And who knows, maybe I would have gotten on the team, learned the tools, been able to have an impact, done some cool shit, you know, and had a great time. I will say that there was an individual that I had hired onto EQ that was friends with the studio head. Well, not studio head. At the time, he was the executive producer of EQ2, who then went over to work with him because they knew each other and I think maybe had worked together briefly before or whatever. And so he was like, at the time, the guy in charge of design, and he was a very big guy physically and very big personality, very loud. And very hot cold. One day you could be on a shit list. One day you're the best thing ever. The next day you're on your shit list again. And so he wound up being my boss's boss on DC Universe Online because basically the EQ2 guys went and took over the studio that had Star Wars Galaxies. And then wound up, we started the team that was DC Universe Online. So I was on DCUO from the time it was like 5 or 6 of us just sort of brainstorming. And one of the guys basically was the former executive producer of EQ2 and then one of the, I don't know, leads or creative directors or whatever on EQ2, who is this guy that I had actually hired into the company. So they recruited me to go to Austin to work on DCUO. And that was one of those projects where it started out really well. It was really great working with those guys. And then it quickly got to a point once we hired someone in above me to be the design director. And then we had a studio design director who is this guy that I hired. And the relationship between the two of them was just nonsense for 4 years or whatever. I was on the project for like 5, but it was like managing 2 parents that were constantly fighting, and then constantly getting caught in the flack when that was going off. And so that wound up being a project where, again, I really think the game turned out very well. It's a cool game. We did some really wild shit that we pulled off, you know, like, you know, so I'm proud to have worked on DC Universe Online, but working with those individuals was I mean, you could have just sat me in a jar of acid for 5 years and it would have been more comfortable. So I've got a short list of people I'll never work with again in this industry. I don't know that they would ever want to work with me again. I don't give a shit. And, you know, the leadership of that team is definitely it. And so I feel like if I would have gone over to EQ2 while that individual was over there, maybe that would have surfaced sooner. I don't know. But it is, so that's why I'm happy I didn't go to EQ2. And then we did a really cool mercenary MMO prototype. When I went over and met the PlanetSide team and quickly was not really working on anything substantive on PlanetSide, but then had a chance to prototype some stuff with that team. We had a badass prototype that wound up not getting greenlit, but and you know, got to meet that team, and they're very good people. So, that's my EQ2 story, and you know, not trying to be unprofessional or whatever with regards to my commentary on those individuals that I worked with, but if you're one of those individuals and you're watching this, you know. All right, so let me fix this data change, these data changes that I've done. So I've untampered Thadvic, you know what you did. Like I said earlier in the stream when we were talking about medication and stuff, there is definitely a reason why many of us wound up on medication during that project. Surprised there's not another game like PlanetSide 2? Yeah, you know what? So are we. Give it time. If I'm not mistaken, I think one of the people on our team is a PlanetSide fan. So, all right, so I'll finish writing this up like I said I was going to for the last like 35 minutes, and I will put this additional note. Try to replicate this on the other side with 192 and 47. Couldn't get 47 to train in the same manner. However, when I reduced the social aggro distance on and now I can't be 100% sure. I hate that because it 6, 7, and 8. I'm just going to assume that I got lucky and rolled on ones that they were both 8, and so the test is not invalid. Anyways, when I reduce the social aggro distance on the NPCs, or on 47. Sorry, 48 and I'll just be honest. When I reduce the social aggro distance on level 8 paladins, the problem stopped, and when I reset it, the problem recurred. And now let's say, yeah, the one I fiddled with was the level 8 Gramulurk, correct? And in an effort to not like throw a red herring in the mix or whatever, I was like, let me be specific. So level 8 Skull Paladin, I'm just going to assume the encounter table rolled 8s that time. The assumption is that it's Geo or some similar thing. Cool. Added the comment. Well, that's cool. That took a lot longer than probably should have. Like, you know, I say this for everything that I do on stream, but it was actually really cool to be able to work through something like that with you guys. Hopefully, excuse me, hopefully the guys find that the effort is helpful. Curious. Yeah, I was just kidding. Nick said PlanetSide 1 is top 3 game for him, which is actually saying a lot. It's a pretty big deal. That's how Nick and I met. He came in to ask if anybody had some PlanetSide info or stuff like that, like when I first started streaming, because I was doing EQ related stuff and getting, that might have even been before I got like an EQ guest on, but I was getting like EQ guests on. If you guys are interested in EverQuest and don't know about them, I've got a YouTube channel, A Loving Robot, that's got like 60 hours of interviews with EverQuest folks. So definitely check that out. It's also about the friends we made along the way while bug hunting. That's true, John. What other bugs do we have? I'm not going to start another one because it's basically time's up. But let me see what else I got in here. And so what I'm going to do tomorrow is like we'll do more bugs on Thursday. I'll be streaming again same time on Thursday, and we'll be doing more bugs then. I'll try to line a few up maybe in advance for us to look at. And then tomorrow tomorrow should just be a writing day. I've got some writing stuff some lore stuff to hammer out. That's not something I can do on stream. So I'm gonna spend the bulk of my time focused on that unless something happens. It was during the Scott Hartzman interview? Oh, cool. Easthand said Hartzman's YouTube video is his favorite. Right on. I'm gonna go make some more bugs. Oh, we've got plenty, thank you. Don't make any more. So I am going to be doing that tomorrow unless something weird pops up. So that'll make it good for Thursday because the bugs already exist. And then over the weekend will be some more writing and likely, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be some more writing, and then the product of some of that writing, because we've got like one last class guild to wrap up. I'll be doing the Enchanter Guild write-up. And then that should lead to Enchanter starter quests. And then after that, what I need to do is basically go through all the quests that I've done so far, all of the starter quests. Oh shit. We're still missing rogue starter quests. I've been putting those off because the rogues, I was wanting to do starter quests with like including some things like pickpocket, and stuff like that. Like more of their just kind of unique abilities. What I'm going to do is I'll probably put in placeholder starter quests for the rogues, so they've got something to do, and then go back and redo them when more functionality comes online. And we're going to be redoing starter quests all the way up until launch, I'm sure, as new cool stuff comes online and we learn more. So, but then Enchanter and Enchanter and Rogue should allow me to then go back and just basically try to tweak all of the quests, because we got a ton of feedback from friends and families and a lot of, learnings, and also realize like some quests are only for these levels, and then we've got others that go to this whole other range, and so try to get those a little more consistent. So that'll be what's going on over the next week or so for me, probably maybe even longer. Would love a lore building stream. I know, Nicodemus. The only thing is, it's just a lot of that stuff. The lore it's so much about trying to create all the little special hidden stuff for you guys, and so we're trying to be as hush hush on lore as possible. People in friends and family naturally are discovering some stuff, but it's nice that they're still. It seems like even after they've been playing for a while now, they're still running into little things, new things, I think, which speaks well for us when we actually get to the point where we have, a real sort of substantive amount of content in. So that'll be badass. Anyways, it's 5 o'clock for me. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to remind you of our mailing list. I think we're like 2,700 people or something like that. Be sure to join. It's really cool for us to see that number go up. We put all of these VODs on YouTube check that out. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. And that's another one of those numbers that we like to see go up. And it's free. Join our Discord if you haven't. People there are just as nice and chill as they are here. And the team keeps a pretty good eye on it. I'm still trying to catch back up after vacation. Yeah. And if there are any new folks out there that are new to the game, keep in mind we've got our own category now, but a lot of what we're doing is working on the game in that category. Hopefully you find that entertaining. If not, come back in a couple months or a year or whatever, and you'll see there'll be more game. Some days we'll just be playing all that stuff. So, Kimmery, see you. My break was good. Thank you very much. John, see you. Thanks for all of the jokes and ideas on debugging. Mehmet Rice, thank you much. I am going to have a good night. I'm going to start dinner. Yeah, I actually need to start dinner pretty quickly. Chaz Solo, see you. Esan, see you, brother. Beer Chug, see you. Dark Inside, bye-bye. Thadvic, you have a good day as well. Oh, wake up earlier on Thursday, Thadvic. Angel, bye-bye. BDC Retro, have a good one. See you in Slack, Nick. Nicodemus, see you Thursday. Don't forget the puppers. I won't. Speaking of which, I do need to welcome. Where you at, Ronies? Come here. Say goodbye to everybody. Yeah, I would have forgotten to walk you. Is that everybody? I'm trying to find my Streamlabs. It's been... There it is. Infinite Red, bye-bye. Thanks for catching the streams. Now's your moment. Now's your moment, Roonies. No, you don't need to lick yourself. You should look at the camera. Look at these guys. Look at them. Jaden Fire, see you. Code Matt, have a good one. All right, guys. I'm out of here.